What's up, YouTube? Dubkdadone, Team DKF. We're continuing the series. Cards I wish were playable, but they're not. Today we're going to be talking about the spells. But before I get into that, I want to thank you guys for supporting the last video. Got a lot of chuckles and private messages that were sent to me. People who didn't know that by order of the Emperor existed, didn't know anything about mind hackers, especially mind hackers. A lot of people, especially people who started playing within the last year or so, don't remember when cards only had 3 letters. You know, they look at the MRD and they're like, wow, okay, I know that's Metal Raiders, but you know, there's like Soul of the Duelist and Flaming Eternity and all these other cards that haven't seen play from those sets in a long ass time. And a lot of people just don't buy packs. They get the cards they need and really never lay eyes on any other card from those 100 plus card packs. So again, I just want to thank you guys for the support. Now let's look at some more cards that you guys probably never heard of. Timidity, Ectoplasmer, Dimension Explosion, and Resonator Engine. Let's look at Timidity. Neither player can destroy set spell or trap cards on the field until your opponent's next end phase. This is basically heavy storm protection. This card came out, oh wow, I don't remember if it's Pharaonic Servant or something. I have a reprint there, so that's why I can't tell by looking at the card. But I like it, like how you would use it in today's meta. It would protect you from an end phase Icarus attack. It'll save you from an end phase blind MST. It would save you from your opponent drawing the MST and just using it off the top to hit your warning. So, you know, it could have some applications for today, you know, but the problem is, you know, why would I even go there? Okay, you played your Timidity. I wasn't going to make any actions this turn anyway. I'm just going to set up just like your setup, and then your Timidity is wasted. So, you know, that's like the pros and cons of that card. Ectoplasmer. Only during each player's end phase. Each player tributes 1 face-up monster on his or her side of the field and inflicts damage to the opponent's life points equal to half of the original attack of the attributed monster. So basically you have a once per turn during the end phase half-assed mass driver. You know, I remember a long time ago people trying to build decks with Horus level 6 and with a Silent Swordsman level 3, cards that aren't affected by spells, and you know, activate Ectoplasm and then try to control the field with their dude that's not affected by Ectoplasm. And the problem they had was that you got to draw the two together. And once if you get the setup, it's kind of cool, but if you don't, you know, it's kind of shitty. There was a card called Malice Doll of Demise. He was like specifically designed to go with this card. His effect was, if a card was sent to the graveyard by the effect of a continuous spell, then it's special summoned during your standby. It's like a 1600 attack, 1600 defense, so you could burn your opponent for 800 every end phase. I mean, shitty 2-card combos, whatever. I think that today's application of this card would just be simple monster removal. You stay ahead of your opponent. You know, you set your card, and if your opponent chooses to summon, they need to do something quick about the Ectoplasmer, because during the end phase, Ectoplasmer is going to fry off one of their monster. You know, but the problem is, at the time when that card was released, you only had that one way to summon. I mean, there's still special summons and ritual summons and fusion summons, but those methods were really hard. I mean, you could drop Blackluster Soldier, you know, but people didn't even play Ectoplasmer then. So, you know, you had your normal summon, then you drop Soldier, or you played Metamorphosis. So maximum, if you were super sacky, you would get 3 summons in a turn: your normal summon, a special summon, and some other type of special summon. So like you drop Soldier, you played Premature, you played Call the Haunted, or you played Metamorphosis on a Scapegoat or whatever. You know, you were lucky to get more than one special summon off. Now, you know, you can freaking draw through your whole deck and summon every monster in your extra deck and your deck in one turn. So this card is kind of shitty. Not to mention that, you know, if you're in the danger zone in your life points, and I have that scrap dragon. I'm like, life points are like 1100. I'm like, cool, end phase, I'll just pop my scrap dragon to ectoplasm's effect and burn you for 1400, killing you. So I mean, that's like the problem with that card. Next card, Dimension Explosion. Return one face-up fusion monster you control to the fusion deck. Both players select up to 2 of their monsters that are removed from play and special summon them. Now this card came out during Phantom Darkness, during Dad Return, obviously. And I was like, awesome, I run my Dimension Fusions in this. And then I was like, but you gotta return a fusion monster. So I started looking at Instant Fusion. I'm just like, man, this card is really hurting. You know, I really liked the card because it was a quick play. You know, I mean, it was chainable. You get your fusion out, they bottomless or whatever, and then you Dimension Fusion, or I'm sorry, Dimension Explosion. And, you know, but it's just like Ectoplasmer. You know, you have to have the other cards to go with it. So I had to make sure that I drew into my Instant Fusion and that I had monsters removed from play and my opponent had monsters removed from play. And then I also had to have the Dimension Explosion. Now, with all those damn variables, I mean, you have to know that it was like impossible to set up on a consistent basis, and that's why the card didn't see play. However, you know, when I'm looking at this card, when I was putting together this series of videos, you know, sifting through so many cards, like, okay, well, maybe this card has an application for now, maybe this one does. I was like, nah, it's too complicated. But you know, a deck like Miracle Heroes, you know, that plays the Miracle Gate, or I'm sorry, Fusion Gate and Miracle Fusion, you know, they have a pretty good engine to get their cards removed. The deck plays dimensional prisons, so you know it should be easier to set up a turn where you have 0 on the field, maybe Stratos and random water monster removed from play, and your opponent has, you know, some other monster that you deprisoned earlier. Maybe they attacked with random Sangan and you deprisoned that ass. You know, you have your 0, they go to attack with something, you Dimension Explosion, nuke their field, bring back your Stratos and random water monster. They get their random Sangan. You know, I don't know, you know, it's something to look at. But again, it's one of those things where you have to have all the perfect storm type conditions for the card to work out the way you want. Final card, Resonator Engine. Select 2 Resonator monsters in your graveyard, add 1 level 4 monster from your deck to your hand, and return the selected monsters in the graveyard to the deck. Now, when this card released, there's a lot of people who said, oh my god, you know, Armageddon Knight, Greffer, dump Dark Resonator, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but there's only one Dark Resonator monster, and that's Dark Resonator. And you can only run 3. So, I mean, sure, you can kind of make it work, but it's like half-assed. So you're summoning your Greffer and your Armageddon Knight, and you're dumping your shitty little Dark Resonator when more than likely you'd want to dump Malicious, you want to dump Zephyros, you want to dump Plague Spreader, you want to dump Necrogardener, anything but a shitty Dark Resonator. And, you know, I was kind of hype about this card too. I really wanted to make a deck. I think I even made a video about it in the past about how I wanted to make a deck because, you know, searching for cards out of your deck is boss. I mean, that's why Rhoda's at 1. That's why She and Smoke Signal is so good, because anytime you can tutor a card from your deck to your hand, I mean, that's hot shit. But, you know, you have to run these little minions. You got to find a way to dump the minions to the grave. So you got Foolish Burial, Armageddon Knight, Greffer dumps the dark one, Undying dumps the water one, and you know, that's it. You have no ways to get the other attributes to the grave reliably. I mean, sure you can run Raikou and that kind of shit, but then in that case, why don't you just run plants? So, you know, that's like the failing of this card. I mean, it had the potential to be so good, but the fact that after you go through all that work to dump the Resonators in the grave, you got to throw them back into the deck after you search for level 4. If it simply said activate while you have 2 different named Resonators in your grave, I think that card would be hot, and they just stayed in the grave, because as it is, the Resonator engine becomes a dead one. Let's say after you activate the first one, throw your 2 back, search your level 4 dude, and in a consequent turn, you draw another Resonator engine. That shit is dead until you find a way to dump more Resonators into the graveyard. And, you know, the game is too fast to be having dead draws like that. So let me know what you guys think. Remember, try to put stuff in my blog every time I put up a new video. I put up a new blog entry this morning talking about one of my favorite cards of all time, so please check that out. Also, be sure to check out Silent Enigma's channel. You guys should know who he is by now. He and I were talking about Dueling Network and some problems that we kind of thought existed over there and what they should be doing to fix that. I even messaged those guys over there and they never responded to me, and that was kind of crazy. I was just like, okay, this is gonna bite you in the ass if you don't do something about this now. And I'll have to make a video showing the date when I sent that message, because it was about a month ago when I said something about that. But I'm gonna leave that alone. That's Drew. Drew does the shit talking better than me, because I get angry and I start saying things that don't need to be said. dubkdadone, Team DKF. Appreciate you guys' support. Remember, check out the blog, and I'm out.